Number one, for travel. It's probably the most common reason to join the Air Force, outside of number two and number three. Um, and then number three being somewhat out there. But travel. For some reason, people equate PCSing or moving from base to base with traveling constantly in your career field. There are a handful of career fields that travel because that's what their job requires. A handful. What most people are thinking of when they say, "All right, I'm going to join the Air Force to travel," they're thinking, "I'm going to join the Air Force and then I'm going to wake up in this amazing city, doing all this cool stuff I saw on a commercial," and it's not true. Even if you think, "All right, I'm going to be using my leave and I'm going to be traveling all around the world," it's probably not true, even though it's a possibility and it's highly probable that you'll be able to travel and use your passport and what have you. And not to make this about COVID because it's not, because most of the other, I can't predict the future, but historically speaking, um, COVID's only been 1 or 2 years of my career out of the five so far. So I can't say that we'll always be as limited. We're not limited currently as much, depending on what state you're in, which is ridiculous, honestly. Because anyway, um, you'll be able to travel, but most of the traveling you'll be doing is on your own time. When you're on leave, is what you'll be doing in regards to traveling. You're gonna move in regards to switching bases. Now, even that's not guaranteed, which is a lot of people's gripes with their first base is that they get stuck and they're there just unlimited, like they can't leave. It's an issue, but it's what you sign up for. Most people think that they're gonna get to the first base, be there for 2 years, move, be there for 2 years, move, and unless you're an officer, no, because officers they pretty much move every 2 years or so. Um, but enlisted, you could be at your first base for 6 years or longer. Um, Personally, I've been blessed. I've been to so Lackland, Keesler, Andrews. I count the Pentagon, deployment, Clare Air Force Station, Cannon Air Force Base. Um, you can take away tech school and the basic training, but it still counts. It still counts. 7 bases, 7 assignments in 5 years, or so. So you will move depending on your career field and obviously a lot of logistics and politics in the given office. Um, but yeah, to join the Air Force to travel, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because you can travel while you're civilian. There's no limitations. Like me personally, I road trip. I'm in Houston right now. I drove 9 hours to come work out at Alpha or Alpha Land. It's what I love to do. You can travel constantly. My weekend's mine. My past days are mine. My free time is mine. So what I do with it, I travel with it. Other than that, most people, unless you're in a handful of career fields, you're not going to be traveling constantly in your career. If you're personnel, unless you're PCSing or you're deployed or you went TDY, you're not going to be traveling. If you're a cook, if you work in services, you work at a gym, you're not going to be traveling unless you're TDY, PCSing, deployed. I've, I need to stop shaking this table. I've gone TDY, I believe, 4 or 5 times, something like that. And again, a lot of it has to do with the politics of the given office. None of it's guaranteed. Like none of it, you don't come into any given career field to just load master. You're gonna be in a plane going. You're loading planes, you're unloading planes, you're balancing planes. Your job is to fly. You travel with that plane. Flying crew chief, wherever that plane goes, you go. And if it breaks in Hawaii, so be it. If it breaks in Antarctica, wherever you're at, you're there. Italy, you're there. So your career field has a lot to do with whether or not you're going to travel a ton in your military career, especially in regards to the Air Force. PCSing is not a guarantee. TDYs are definitely not guaranteed. TDYs are more of a privilege, And in the Air Force, depending on your location, uh, deployments are kind of a privilege because depending on what you're doing, like OCN duty, TCN duty, your main duty is to watch other people clean, watch other people dig, watch other people construct. That's about it. And so obviously you got pick. Everybody's rushing over there to take part in that. Of course, they try to limit it to senior airmen below. But yeah, that's number one. Traveling is going to happen. It's going to happen. For some, it's not going to be a ton, and you don't know which one you're going to be. I came in. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see Germany and Italy and the UK, and I've gone to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, surrounding regions. That's it. In terms of outside the country, technically Alaska is overseas. That's my extent of outside the continental U.S. travel, and I've been blessed to have those opportunities. So, outside of that, do not join the Air Force thinking you're just going to be on a plane in first class nonstop. Most of your time is going to be on the ground. Despite all the myths about the Air Force and all we do is fly planes, most of us don't. Most of us don't even see the planes. We work in buildings, and some buildings don't even have windows. It's the military.